one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2 3. 1 2 3. Finish.
Cashing in, say, the way Liv did, well, that's like winning the lottery, isn't it? And I don't need to win the lottery because I work my ass off every week for a paycheck.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these 2 words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps because they know. They know what happens next. So without further ado, free smoke. Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
I know you got him picked, but the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, yo, I am excited to be back. I am recouping. My body has just had no energy in it whatsoever the last week and a half. Body been in a lot of pain. It's been a interesting last week and a half, man. But with that being said, we do have something to recap. Now we got a lot of sports news to go over, so the videos are about to be flowing out again. But this video ain't about all type of sports news. We got to finish up All-Star Week for the MLB. I am a huge MLB baseball fan, so it was no way I was just going to not upload a video for the MLB All-Star Game. So the MLB All-Star Game, a collection of the best in the game come together, or the best in the game that season mixed with a couple of the best in the game, come together to have a baseball game. That's legitimately what it is. It's like a regular baseball game. This baseball game was more exciting to me this year than the one last year. I don't want to say it was that much more exciting. Like, to start the game off, Lord knows I love Randy Rosarena. The pose, I'm so happy he done found that for himself. And I think I had said in the home run derby video that, oh, first off, how's everybody doing today, bro? How dope is the day? You know what I'm saying? How dope is the day? Henry, my guy, what's good with you? I said in the home run derby video that Vlad don't hit home run. I mean, don't speak. I definitely didn't say that. I said I didn't know if he spoke English or not. I couldn't remember. Vlad do speak English. He do. Obviously, that's not his first language, but he do speak some English. So I can understand what Vlad is saying. So that's dope. But anyways, the first inning, you know I love Randy Rosarena, a motherfucker named Randy. And I fuck with Adolis Garcia. I love they bromance. Both of them make ridiculous catches. Now, I know for some people who don't play baseball, they're going to be like, oh, they was routine plays. The Adolis Garcia one definitely wasn't routine because when you fight in the sun, if anybody done played out in the outfield and had to look up and chase a ball in the sun, even with shades on, you know how difficult that is. I done had to look up at the sun one time chasing a baseball, just when I was playing a recreational game of baseball with some dudes. Looking up to try to go chase a baseball when it's beaming outside in the summertime, bro, your shades don't even help sometimes. Depending on the type of shades you got and whatnot. But that wasn't that wasn't an easy catch. Plus he had to contort his body basically to reach back with his arm to make the catch, because now I know there'll be some ignorant folks out there say, well, he took a bad route to the ball. Again, I want to see what you could do in them same conditions with the sun beaming in your face like that. However, that was a great catch. It let me know off rip though, this gonna be some BS, because immediately after, and that wasn't a home run that he stole. That one was probably a double that he stole from, who hit that? Ronald Acuna. I think he stole it from Ronnie. The second hit that they stole from Freddie Freeman was Randy Arozarena. Now, I'm trying to remember if that one was high enough. I don't think that one was a home run either. I think that one probably would have been a double also. But that one, one of them probably did. Nah, I think both of them was like doubles. Freddie's was probably closer to a home run. But Buddy's, well, I got to go back and look at Freddie's, because I don't even think his was gonna get over the fence. I think it was just gonna be a double. I think both of them would have been extra bases. Both of them. And if Adolis Garcia, where that ball landed, if he don't make that catch, Ronald Acuna probably taking 3. I mean, I'm gonna just be a band with you. This dude got 40 steals in the first half of the season. Ronald Acuna probably trying to take 3 on you, and it's the All-Star game. Yeah, Ronnie probably going for 3 if you can't get to that ball, or if that ball ricochet off the wall and go to deeper to the right side, like, and you got to go chase it now. Yeah, that would have been a tough one. But when I saw Garrett, I literally said to myself before the game started, I said, please let Garrett Cole have one of them bad Rafi Devers type games where he just letting Rafi just nuke off of him all game long. Sadly, that wasn't the case. He ended up escaping the inning. Now, I'm not really going to talk to you too much about the game. You had some home runs here. A big home run, a 2-run blast from Elias Diaz in the 8th inning off of Felix Bautista. They was getting mad because they calling some dude in Seattle was getting mad because his nickname for Felix Bautista is King Felix. I never understand why white dudes get on the radio and get so up in arms and emotional about things that they have no control over, that they put no work into, that they put no money into, and things of that nature. And things are so arbitrary and so ridiculous. But when if I were a Seattle Mariners fan, would I be mad that Felix Bautista was being called King Felix by the Baltimore Orioles? No. For one, his name is literally Felix. 2, he's one of the best closing pitchers or relief pitchers in baseball. 3, do you see how big that motherfucker is? 4, it is a sport. It is a taunt from fans, probably to Seattle fans, to piss you off. What's up with some of y'all, bro? What's up with some of y'all? Shout out to King Felix, but he did get taken deep. Shout out to Yandy Diaz of the Tampa Bay Rays. He had a home run in this game. I think he had another hit in this game also. Shout out to Luis Arraez, the hitting machine. He had 2 more hits in this game. This motherfucker just hit everything. It was a good game, bro. It was better than the game from last year. I understand why some people wasn't too excited about it, though. It didn't have the names like the Aaron Judges or the Tim Anderson, the Giancarlo Stantons, the Mike Trouts of the world. You know, I understand some people getting mad about not having those type of players. But listen, I told you before, baseball is a type of sport where the best player don't necessarily make the All-Star game. Whoever having the best year usually make the All-Star game. Plus, they got this ridiculous rule where every single team got to have an All-Star. I really don't know how to feel about that rule, to be completely honest with you. Because in a sense, it do ensure that every single team will be represented at the All-Star game. And I do like that. Now, I understand when you have these years where, like, I don't want to call out dudes individually. I'm not going to do that. But whereas players who clearly shouldn't be on the All-Star team make the All-Star team just because either a guy got to be replaced or a team have to have All-Star. So I get that. But I look at the positive side of it. It's the same way I look at the NBA dunk contest. I understand it's been terrible the last couple years, so you want it to go before the 3-point contest. But that can never happen because the year that the 3-point contest is the last contest and the dunk contest come before it and the dunk contest is absolutely insane, well, now we have a problem because instead of ending the night with an insane dunk contest, we end it with a shooting exhibition. Regardless of how hard it is to hit threes under that type of pressure in that short amount of time, with that repetition, don't matter. The dunk contest will always been the highlight if it go off. So you can't switch the places for that reason. And I agree with that. I look at that the same way in this rule. In this rule of every team got to have an all-star represented, imagine it's a team that's playing just god-awful. But they got an all-star on that team. They have one dude on the team that while he is having an all-star year, it's just a shame that the team is just too bad around him for him to really do anything for the team. Think of Brian Reynolds from the Pirates a couple years ago. I know some people say Key Brian Hayes, but I don't think Key Brian Hayes is nowhere near the hitter. I don't really think Key Brian Hayes is anywhere near as good as Brian Reynolds. That's just my opinion, though. But think of players like that who are on terrible teams. Now, I know the Pirates got a lot of good players over there now. But think of teams that's having terrible years, but it's a player on that team who is so very clearly top 5 at his position, one of the top players in the league. Like, you want that person to get to an all-star game. This rule makes sure that happens. Now, obviously, you'll have those years where it's a team where every single player on the team is having a terrible year, and somebody still got to go. That's just how it goes. But the White Sox had a terrible year. They having a terrible year. Luis Robert is a shining spot throughout all of that. He was in the All-Star game and in the dunk contest. So I'm not mad at the rule. I know it's a lot of baseball fans who are. I don't really. To me, the rule. I don't mind the rule. I think it's a good rule or a good thing to have to make sure every single team is represented. Especially if you somebody who play like MLB The Show and you don't care how good or bad the card is that your team get. You just want to have that all-star for your team. Then I get that. So I'm not somebody who mad at the rule, but I do understand people who don't. If you watch this game last year and this game this year, clearly the star power was a bit different. I watched baseball, so I knew just about everybody in the game, except for a couple people like Perdomo. I didn't know who Perdomo was. But for the most part, I knew who everybody was. But I understand that, the big names and yada, yada, yada. I don't think that's the problem with the All-Star game, though. But before I get into that, like I said, shout out to Elias Diaz, the catcher for the Rockies. Another team having a rough year, but he was able to make the All-Star game, and look what he did when he got to the All-Star game. Shout out to all the players and whatnot, bro. All the foreign players, the African-American foreign players. Well, not American, the black players. Let me put it like that. The black players, foreign players who are now here in America. So they basically foreign American. I mean, I don't even know what term you would use. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to them. I love them dudes. They look like they had the funnest time seeing their brotherhood and all them. I just love seeing players be around each other. Love each other, enjoy the game without knowing nothing on the line right now. We could just enjoy ourselves and go out there and have fun. That's always going to be dope to me because that's the one time where these athletes get to play a kid's game. And no other point in time is this a kid's game. It's a kid's game when you get to play it and there's nothing on the line whatsoever, even though I think the game would be better if they started to put something on the line. But we'll get into that now. So, as much as I know baseball purists probably enjoyed this baseball game. And I enjoyed this baseball game. I'm not a baseball purist. I would say I'm a little bit of both. I can appreciate a good game of defensive stops in the NFL. But I can also say like, yo, come on now. I want some scoring in this game. You know what I'm saying? So I can be both. I understand the people who want to see the pure game of baseball. Just, But I'm also the type of person who want to see, home runs. We throwing to strike people out and we swinging the jack homers out the park. You know what I'm saying? So I can dig both of them, to be completely honest with you. You got your Luis Urias there, and you got your Kyle Schwarbers. I can enjoy both players. I absolutely love Kyle Schwarber. Wasn't at the All-Star game, but I'm just talking about a dude who swing for power and strike out a lot. Terrible batting average. A dude who really don't hit for no power, but he hit for a lot of base hits and whatnot. the best average in baseball. It's a what do you want? You take your pick. It's something for both people. But my problem with the All-Star game is that the All-Star game is treated like every game throughout the season, and that would be fine. And it was fine back in the day, and I don't know if that's truly the problem, but it feel like the All-Star game for baseball done become an uneventful, nobody really talk about it type of game. Yeah, it trend on Twitter now, but I think it trend on Twitter more so because of what's happening for baseball, not necessarily for the All-Star game. John Boy Media, the different players it's really John Boy Media that's starting to help baseball get back on the map. MLB the show, being on Xbox now is introducing baseball to a bigger audience and whatnot. I really don't think baseball is doing as much as they should be doing, as much as it is other people outside of the sport bringing people into the sport for them. But that's nonetheless, because I'm almost guaranteeing you they ain't giving John Boy Media crazy bread, but I could be wrong. But baseball got to find a way to make this game funner, bro. It's just like, to me, the home run derby, which I do want to touch back on real quick. MLB have to figure out how to make sure no batter is screwed because of his BP pitcher. Now, I would never suggest the same BP pitcher for everybody. That's ridiculous. That's way too many pitches that he gonna be throwing. His arm gonna be spent by the third person. But you got to figure out how to get some legitimate BP pitchers in here, so that this competition is legitimately about who can hit the most home runs, not who can figure out how to get their fucking BP pitcher to throw it right down the middle or to a spot where I can continuously just jack him out of the stadium. Really, the only person who got to just get on a legitimate roll was Julio. Now, I know there's a lot of people who say, let's just take this back to the way it was back in the day. And I'm almost at that point also, where it's 10 outs. You limit how many times you cannot swing and whatnot. Even though I don't even have a problem with that, to be honest with you. This is supposed to be a festivity, an event that's huge. That's exactly what this people should be looking at, these home runs being amazed like it's a dunk contest. This is the dunk contest for the MLB. You supposed to have the fans and the players all sitting on a hill looking at these home runs get jacked out. Like, think of some of the classic MLB home run derby pictures, seeing all the players together down there chilling with each other. That's how you got that right. Having all those players chill together and like that, you got that absolutely right. That is a beautiful thing to see when I see all of the players from different teams chilling around each other, showing that they fuck with each other, they love each other, relationships you didn't even know existed. I love that part of it. Seeing them talk to each other throughout the competition and hang with each other. Love it. I loved it even more when they was sitting on like a hill slope and they had just like, it looked like a family gathering. It was just so dope. Like, look at the MLB stars. Like, I remember the UFC lineup when they had the 7 GOATs or the 7 champions sitting up there, the legendary champions. That's what it looked like every time I see these events where I see just a bunch of stud baseball players sitting together on the ground or in an area. It's 2023, so they give them nice cushions and whatnot. Now they don't really have them sitting on the ground and whatnot. But plus, it depends on how the stadium is built. Because I think 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year, the home run derby, they were sitting on a little slope. I think it was in Dodger Stadium, or maybe it was the All-Star game before that. I can't remember. Either way, I would like to see the home run derby go back to just, you got 10 outs. Because the quantity thing, I don't like seeing these dudes spent. The biggest problem for me is just, without a shadow of a doubt, the BP pitchers. Going back to the way it was would help the BP pitchers. It would help the product sell more. I think the fans would enjoy it more. You would now have the chance to spectate every single home run and admire them. You would now get a chance to even bring in more sponsors and make the event even bigger, bro. Like, you keep saying you don't want this to be a long event. You do want this to be a long event. You want this to go as long as you possibly could have it go. Yeah, people got school the other night. Who cares? It's not like we do this every week. This is a once a year type of thing for us. We're going to make this as big as possible. So that's exactly what you should be doing for your home run derby. And it's not like you have a 3-point contest, a skills contest, and all these other contests. You have the derby. Obviously, you got the little skills. You got the little celebrity game. But you got the derby and you got the all-star game. You should be having that derby. The derby should be the gem, the highlight of the weekend every single weekend. And it feel like we trying to rush through the Derby now instead of admire the skill set of these players. Mookie Betts, nobody thought had a chance, even though it's a shit ton of Mookie fans out there who actually did believe in Mookie. But he didn't have a chance when you got a BP pitcher throwing like that. Pete Alonso having to try to jack sliders opposite way because his BP pitcher throwing him sliders and sinkers outside. Adolis Garcia legitimately having to yell at his BP pitcher to throw the ball down the middle. That is a problem. That takes away from the competition. So MLB need to go into the lab and they need to figure that shit out. This event should be a spectacle every single time, bro. It ain't dudes just walking around in everyday life who can do what these dudes is out there doing. And do you think Julio got a better chance of doing what he do if he don't have to spend himself hitting 41 jacks in the first inning? I mean, his first round, if the competition was set up a little bit different. They shouldn't be fighting against a time clock, bro. Anytime you put a clock on something, I understand in some sports and in some situations it make it a pressure situation. This is not one of them situations where a clock is needed, bro. If somebody is worried about the home run derby taking too long, don't come. Turn it off. But don't minimize the event because of people got school the next night or some shit like that. You don't do a home run derby every single week. Bro, make this shit huge. Now, next, to fix the All-Star game. I'll be honest with you, man. The only thing that I can think of to fix the All-Star game, because I just know baseball not going to try no goofy stuff. Like, they're not going to try to do entertaining things like have teammates maybe pitch to a teammate or, you know, different type of creative ways to get fans involved, to get more people laughing and having a good, wholesome time. Not just there sitting in silence and talking about random shit because the game done went through a little drought for the last couple innings. Baseball will never do something that will creatively get people engaged because they want to keep the purest form of the game intact. So, because of that, why don't we just switch the All-Star game to if you make the All-Star game, if we not going to have dudes picking their rosters, if we not going to set up the positions and make sure now that would require them changing the way that you bring people to the All-Star game. Because you got to make sure. Now, actually, no, it wouldn't, because they would make sure they have the right amount of catchers, the right amount of. So let the two first highest vote getters pick their teams. Put something on the line every year for that. And the team that win, that captain and those players possibly immediately get an invite next year's All-Star game. So they can run it back next year. Meaning these dudes will already be All-Stars. I don't think you could do it like that because you don't want to be a predetermined All-Star. However, the captain of the All-Star game will be back regardless. Even if he ain't an All-Star, he will immediately be brought back. Even though you would imagine that the highest vote getter would also be a top vote getter next year also. But so let's just throw one out there. Let's say Mookie Betts is the NL leading vote getter and Trouty or Shohei is the leading vote getter for the AL. Let them pick their teams, put a purse on the line, and send them out there and let's compete. You can still do the World Series managers manage the opposing teams. Or hell, let the opposing managers choose who their captain is and then let them decide to choose the teams. That's one way you can spice it up. The other way, because this game don't mean nothing. And obviously these games don't ever mean anything. But that's not my complaint. My complaint is this game don't mean nothing because it don't decide the World Series home field advantage no more. But it also, in a sense, don't mean nothing. And in baseball, when a game don't mean nothing, it's not enough entertainment to keep you entertained if it don't mean nothing. Basketball game can mean not a damn thing, but it's so much entertainment, so many shots, or somebody dunking 360s and shit. So it can keep you entertained. This game get boring and nothing on the line. You probably change the channel, go to something else, or go to bed. So you have to make it worth something. Make a payday for turn this into a tournament on a yearly basis now. Make it a WBC type of event. Have an All-Star week that is solely dedicated to the WBC. Create your own semi-type of WBC America versus World tournament that happened throughout the All-Star week. Do something like that to spice up the All-Star game. I understand you don't want to lose the tradition of having All-Stars traditionally picked. I get that. So that could be a problem when you do world versus yada, yada, yada. However, you have to find a way to make this game more entertaining. I understand there's going to be people out there who say, bro, it's baseball. This is how a baseball game is supposed to be played, yada, yada. I get that. But I'm sorry to tell you, you are quickly falling behind. I know you want to think that the sanctity of baseball will never be touched. Though those losers on Twitter will never come into our sport and tell us what to do. My guy, the bottom line at the end of the day for MLB is to make money. And at the end of the day, the way you make money with people, fans nowadays, to keep them involved and engaged is to entertain them. They want to be entertained. That's why NFL put an emphasis on scoring more points. That's why they score more points in basketball. That's why they try to find ways to score more points in baseball. That's why you got a pitch clock to speed the game up. That's why you got bigger bases. They want more points scored. So I understand you're purists who don't want all this ignorance in your game the way you see it, all this silliness in your game. But I'm sorry to tell you, it's coming quicker than you might like. There's a shift coming. The best start would be the All-Star game, to see how you can shift this All-Star game to be a true top. Why after every year are we talking about the uniforms at all, which I just think is ridiculous that baseball fans want them to go out there with they regular uniforms on. I think that is an eyesore. I hate it when any sport have an all-star game where the dudes wear their actual uniforms. That was cool back in the day. That to me now is an eyesore. I agree with every single league who got one singular jersey for every all-star. Like we got an all-star for this, for the East, an all-star jersey for the West. It is no wearing your team jerseys. You wear these jerseys and we're going to put something on it to let them know what team you from. I like that. The jerseys this year didn't look that great because they used Seattle theme colors. I don't like the Seattle blue and I don't like the Seattle Mert green type color. I thought the jerseys or the baseball jerseys or uniforms from last year was phenomenal at the All-Star game. Matter of fact, I think I like both of the last two aside from this one. So the previous 2 years, I liked those uniforms. I didn't really like the ones this year. Even though I'm not telling you I didn't like them, but I didn't like the batting helmets at all with just the N and the A on the top of the helmets. Those was hideous. The jerseys didn't look bad. I just don't really like those colors. Actually, I love the blue ones. The green ones, I don't really know how to feel about them yet, but I do like the design and all that. I don't have a problem with the actual jerseys. It's the colors. And they chose Seattle colors because the jerseys was Seattle. I wish they had chose like a Seattle's yellowish color that they put in their uniform sometimes. Or that, the bluish color that they put in, the lighter royal type of blue that they put in their thing. I wish they had to put Tritons on the uniforms also to let them know it was a Seattle thing. That would have been hard. I know they had on the end, because you got American and national on the jerseys, and on the baseball symbol, it's got like the paradigm. I don't even know if that's what it's called. The Seattle dime thing. Excuse me, it looked like a clock, bro. I don't know what they would call it, but it had those. The jerseys was fine, bro. But why is that what people want to talk about after these games? That should be so far and away from what people talking about after an all-star game is the jerseys, the red carpets. It feel like every time I look at people recap the all-star game for MLB, the way they recap it is to talk about the home run derby, the red carpet, interviews they had before the all-star game, and then they'll find a way to talk about the 3 or 4 big things that happened in the all-star game. But it's not really an all-star game breakdown. It's a breakdown of the all-star week with like maybe 10 minutes dedicated to talking about the all-star game. That is a problem. I know the MLB want to make money, but do you really want to make money? Talk to me. Because there is ways to make this game better. I don't understand why you wouldn't want this game to be a better game. Because this is how you're going to bring fans into your game. Point blank period. I know you want to think that people only root for one team, but Steph Curry is not only being rooted for by motherfuckers who cheer for the Warriors. LeBron don't get rooted for by just motherfuckers who root for the Lakers. These dudes are big time. When they go to all-star games, that's a chance for the other fans of other teams to go there and just be a fan of those players. They don't even have to hide that I can't root for them now because, I'm a Knicks fan and I can't be rooting for them in the midst of all these. When you go to an all-star game or all-star festivities, bro, you're a fan of the players. It's the one time where fans get to just be a fan of players and not worry about the team. Unless you got those ignorant fans that's always hating on it. Oh, this is meaningless. You know, don't pay attention to those dudes. You know what I'm saying? They watch things they don't like to torture themselves. Tell me the logic in that. They're doofuses. But it was a good all-star week of festivities. And shout out to my guy, JD Martinez. Can't forget about my guy. Now, another way I think you can improve this game is they tried to mic up a lot of people, but when you mic up certain people and they just don't really give you much, you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. Shout out to Nathan Evaldi and Josh Hader. I could not imagine having to talk and pitch at the same time. It's like, my goodness, especially giving them as much as they gave him. Like, they wasn't just not talking. They was actually talking back and forth to the dude. So shout out to them two dudes. I'm always going to love the dudes who choose to get on the mic. Now, I wish some of these dudes would have bigger personalities. Like I said before, the MLB can try to market you as much as they can. You got to want to market yourself. Mookie Betts markets himself. I love Ronald Acuna's chain. That shit is hard. Trevor Plouffe, stop hating, my guy. Love you, though. I'm telling you, these players have to be willing to get on the mic and want to talk. I want to hear Vlad Guerrero. I want to hear Mookie, Frederick Freeman, my guy. You want to hear the biggest stars, Ozzy Albies, even though I don't know why they continue. Well, I like that they give Ozzy. I like that they give Ozzy Albies a mic up session every time he do this, because he one of the people who give him a lot. So I would never say nothing negative about that. So continue to give him the mic. But some of these dudes, I just wish they would because I'm putting everything on MLB. But this is the part where I have to put it on the players also. Pro player show. However, the players got to want to market themselves also. Look at how much marketable Mike Trout done become in the last couple years, bro. These players got to understand, people want to love you. They want to root for you. I understand you don't want them in your business, and I agree with that 1,000%. But there's ways that you cannot let them in your personal life, but give them your professional life. Something that ain't got to be as secretive. You know what I'm saying? I would never say let them into your personal life in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But your professional life that's on TV, you can find ways to make it seem like that's private stuff that you giving them, when actuality, that's shit that people could know regardless. You know what I'm saying? I'm basically telling you to hustle the fans and make them think that they know shit that they actually, when in actuality, you know nothing. You know what everybody else could have found out by just Googling me. You know what I'm saying? Just take some of your Wikipedia shit that's already out there and act like nobody ever knew about it, and then say it. So when it pop up on Wikipedia, people like, oh yeah, I remember when he said something about this. You know what I'm saying? And the whole time you just like, these doofuses. But that's just that's how I see it. But I think that would be a great way to get players have to want to market themselves. And you guys are unbelievable at this sport. Unbelievable. I hear Mookie Betts trying to be so modest and so humble. Bro, fuck that humble shit. Tired of being humble. These dudes are doing things I could never dream about doing. They are getting in the box, out in the field, on the mound, doing unreal type shit. Celebrate yourselves. Market yourselves. MLB, market them also. Get mic'd up and give us some energy, man. This game don't mean shit until it do. Until it do. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It With Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You could be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. Like, subscribe, share. Saint out. Okay, let me go ahead and turn down my TV real quick. Go ahead and turn that down. Listen, man. How in God's name could I possibly end the show without talking about my guys from Philly? Bro, shout out to Nicholas Castellanos, my guy Casty. I absolutely love you. Shout out to Craig Krimble, one of the greatest set closers all time, getting the close for the NL. Shout out to Philly Rob for being the manager who led the NL to their first win in like 7 or 9 years or whatever it was. Shout out to them Philly boys, man. I love Castellanos so much, bro. When people was going hard at Casty last year, I kept defending my guy. Like, bro, the man got to a new team with an ignorant fan base who didn't give him no time to sit down and settle in. He adjusting to life in a new area. He got to find a whole new routine and get used to something so he can get back normal. Give my man time, bruh. And look at him now, an all-star the next year. Getting hits and runs in the all-star game, bruh. I saw you talking crazy about Craig Kimbrell. My bad, Craig. I've been watching him for a long time, for a lifetime, it feel like. And look at the man. Closing out the all-star game with his same 3 pitches. It feel like 2 sometimes, a knuckle curve and a fastball. But I know he got that 2-seamer in there, I believe it is, that he throw. Regardless, shout out to them Philly boys. Now, with that being said, tell somebody you fuck with them, tell somebody you love them, like, subscribe, share. You can be anything in this world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. Shout out to Phillies. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, you know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber, you out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.